We're talking about a renewable energy bill.
Bill's read second time or passes third reading. Third reading of Senate bills. The clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 834, relating to basic human rights and declaring an emergency.
The question now arises upon third reading, final passage of Senate Bill 834A. Representative Russo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I rise today to urge an aye vote for Senate Bill 834. This bill requires the Department of Human Services to create and present a proposal for the development of a Human Rights Commission no later than December 1st of this year. Imagine waking up every day as an adult and being told what you can eat, wear, and do. Perhaps you want to take a shower at night, but other adults tell you that you have to take it daily in the morning. Maybe you want to go out on a date, but another adult tells you you just can't. This is the reality for some people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We sometimes take for granted our basic right to make decisions about what we do every day. For folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities, basic choices are often limited by caregivers and family members, not out of malice, but out of the best of intentions. We want to protect our loved ones and those in our care from bad choices that might hurt them. But the reality is that like everyone, individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities have the right and ability to decide for themselves.
Right.
And we know that when they're able to make their own independent choices, our community is better off. This bill will ask DHS to come up with a proposal to create a commission that will protect an individual's right to choose friends and visitors, select their own entertainment, tend to their own personal hygiene, choose their own intimate partners, and make choices about what they eat and drink every day, the same choices that you and I make daily and often take for granted. It is our job to facilitate a community in Oregon where every individual, regardless of their abilities, can live with dignity and freedom, and we're not there yet. This bill is the next step for independence for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I urge your aye vote.
Further discussion? Representative Noble.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the bill. Colleagues, I was a no vote on this bill, and I would like to explain why. Throughout my life, my family and I had the pleasure of working with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And it comes home with my 87-year-old uncle who has cerebral palsy. And I grew up at a time when his mother was encouraged to institutionalize him, and she chose not to. With all due respect to the sponsors of this bill, the sponsors, I believe in watching my time on the Human Services and Housing Committee that we are in a cycle of creating policy by legislation for DHS, and that requiring a law so DHS would propose to establish a Human Rights Commission to deal with giving people the right to choose friends, to brush their teeth, or have access to food is absolutely appalling to me.
Oh my God.
And we should expect the executive branch to do the job that they're supposed to do and to enforce federal and state law that exists and give these people the dignity and the rights they so much deserve. I will still be a no on this bill. Thank you.
Oh, never mind then.
Further discussion? Representative Kindergarten.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to just rise in support of this bill. To the bill. I just want to express that it came with a lot of support from a number of groups: the Oregon Self-Advocacy Coalition, Oregon Council on Developmental Disabilities, Oregon Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Coalition, and the Residential Facilities Ombudsman did not have any opposition. And I wanted to read a couple of quotes that came out of that committee to make sure that the voices of people from the IDD community who helped shape the proposal and who advocated for it in front of our committee were heard on the floor of the House. Gabrielle Houdon, Executive Director of the Oregon Self-Advocacy Coalition, said it's important to have a commission to make sure that people's rights are respected when they use intellectual and developmental disability services. Unfortunately, the rights of people with IDD are not always respected. When this doesn't happen, they deserve to be heard, so we can fix the problem. Jamie Degnault, Executive Director of the Oregon Council on Developmental Disabilities, said the Commission could suggest ways to support human rights and basic freedoms, offering less restrictive home environment and regulations. So I want to make sure that people who are not in that committee are aware of two things. One is this bill does not provide any new rights that are not already in law. And secondly, the bill is not starting a commission, it's asking DHS to make suggestions about if they were to do a commission, what would that look like, and we can consider it in a future session. There are a number of states, I'm recalling from memory, I think it was 8 states that already have this kind of commission, and I think that we really need to hear the voice of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in terms of what are the solutions to help them, now that we have banned legal rights, really translate that into the modern day world. Again, it's not new rights. The Commission, if it were to be approved in the future, is looking at ways that we can help ensure that they have these rights and help people who are taking care of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities really wrestle with some of the issues that Representative Russo brought up. You know, if somebody wants to have an intimate relationship, they should be allowed to do that, but how do you do that with support and advice? So that's really getting at the nuances of it that this community is really yearning for. So with that, I urge your support.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Beluso, do you wish to close?
Not.
She does not. Those of the opinion that the bill should pass, vote aye. Those opposed, no. The clerk will open the voting system.
Okay, so did a voice vote. So what happens next? I think I have to do it manually. Where's the board that shows who voted how? It's over there. Okay. So is it going to have a red dot or a green dot? Is that how it works?
Red is no, green is aye.
Okay, so we're waiting for them to do it. Okay. And it passes. What's the numbers now?
Senate Bill 834A having received the
45.
constitutional majority is declared passed.
45 yes, 3 no.
The clerk will read
There are
the bill.
80 members, correct?
60. 60 in the House, 30 in the Senate.
Okay, so in 60, how many are Dem and how many are GOP?
Question now arises upon third reading and final passage of Senate Bill 1040.
Let me look at it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, Senate Bill 1040 is a simple bill that does nothing new. It only codifies in state statute the way employers, workers, and local